Hello there, boys and girls, and all of those in between. My name is Maliena Bitchcock, and welcome to a fantastic another episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, a fantastic interview show where we get to talk to some of the best performers from all over. This week, we got one of my favorite, and that's right, it's actually one of my nephews, drag kings from here in Eugene, Oregon, the one and only stud themselves, Miles Long.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Hey stud, how you doing over there?
Oh, you know, kicking it quarantine style.
Well, you're looking quite handsome over there and quite buff with those big old pecs.
Thank you. You know, I've been working out.
Oh, me too. It's called Carl's Jr. and McDonald's. That's why I call these my Whoppers. Well, how are you surviving quarantine over there?
Oh, you know, with a little of this, a little of that, maybe a little of this.
Ooh, yes. Well, I'm definitely am feeling the heat today, my love. Oh my God. Oh, it's so warm. It's in the 90s, but we're still here. Now, my beautiful, studly man, are you ready to dive into the bulk of this interview?
I don't know. Are you ready to dive into my bulk?
Oh my God, I've been waiting for you to ask that all day. Well, darling, let's start at the very beginning and tell me actually a little bit about your first exposure to drag.
So I was exposed to drag at Darcel's in Portland. That was my main exposure. My aunts took me up to Darcel's and I had a fantastic time, saw some amazing performers, and fell in love. And then I came out to Eugene and found there was a big drag community out here and met Flotatia at karaoke over at Cowfish while she was running that. And it was just love at first sight. I was like, you know, I want to do this, but can I do this as a man?
Mm-hmm. And you know, it's funny because you said your first exposure was out at Darcel's, which Darcel's was also one of my first shows that I ever saw. But I'm just curious, if you don't mind, when you say exposure, are you referring to when Darcel comes out in her buttless chaps?
You know, I don't believe that happened that night. But yeah.
That's so sad. I mean, that's like a staple to go to Darcel's and see her booty falling out of those chaps. But okay, now tell me a little bit. When did you actually see your first drag king and realize maybe that's something you wanted to do?
So my first drag king was actually Beezus out here in Eugene, and I saw them perform, and they're more of a drag queen, which is kind of what I've geared towards. And their performance is so high energy and absolutely through the roof that I was like, I need that in my life. I need to do this, and this is just dying to come out of what's inside of me. So,
Oh my goodness, that sounds so personal and sexy. I love it. Well, you know, we all go through that. I remember seeing my first drag, and I was just like dying to want to be that polished, but at the same time, I was a total booger. And, you know, we all work up to that point. You know, tell me a little bit, what was it about drag that made you want to do it?
oh man, the freedom to express who I wanted to be, or who I wanted to be at that moment. Everybody's got masculine and feminine in them, and much more, and all of that needs to be expressed. And to be able to be on that stage and give that to an audience is everything, absolutely everything. Could not ask for more.
No, I get it. You know, that stage can be very liberating and add a lot of confidence. even a sex appeal that you didn't realize that you had. And it's so nice because me, as an example, is I get so scared of people as my normal self, but the moment you put a wig and makeup and a fancy costume on me, I'm ready to grind my titties all over you and twerk like a wild freaking animal. I mean, girl, I'm ready to just have fun. And that's the thing about drag. It's so empowering and it so gives you the ability to almost do anything.
Exactly, exactly. I've had a few moments where anything has just happened and I was not aware of it at the moment. But it was fantastic, and every single moment I live for it. I crave it. The audience, the energy. It's like I'm a drag vampire. I need it.
Yes, I love a good craving. Now, tell me about your first time on stage as a drag king and when you actually started performing.
So my very first time on stage, I was extremely blessed. Beezus was actually performing at Pride and wanted to do a group number with about four other people, and we were doing YMCA on stage. So we all had to commit to a character, and I was the construction worker, had the tool belt around my waist, the flannel, I had a construction hat that I found at Goodwill. It was fantastic.
Oh my God, it sounds so hot. I'm just getting over here. I'm just squirting with juices. Well, I love that. And I mean, you did it at Pride. So that was your first time was actually probably in front of like hundreds of people.
Yeah, it was, and one of my biggest achievements as well.
That's kind of fantastic. When did you actually do your first solo drag king performance?
My first solo drag king performance happened at Unchained at Sam Bond's Garage, or not Garage, Brewery, because there's two. Uh, and I did Bruno Mars song, and I can't remember what the heck I did for the other one. But I did
It's
two
okay.
songs.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
That's cool. Yeah, neither can I. Um, but we did, I did these songs in front of just people of all ages, and I was so scared, but I just did it. I just did it. And after I did it, I felt amazing, and I got that craving. I got my hooks right into it and just wanted to grab on and go.
Oh, it's so funny you say that because the moment you get bit by that drag bug, it's like the worst addiction you can ever have come into your life because you just keep craving to want to be on stage. You keep craving the attention that you get as a drag performer. And you also crave the ability to do your art because the art itself of creating the look and creating the performance is a part that actually allows us to get out maybe our inner issues or our mental things. And it makes it kind of therapy in a way. And I love that you kind of found that aspect of your life. Do you feel like that's made you a lot more confident finding drag, especially if you're in or out of it?
Oh, much, much more confident. I have no filter now, and I look fabulous all the time. Uh, thank goodness to all of my drag friends and family. Like it really is a family. And I'm very blessed to have you all in my life. So,
Oh, you're so sweet. Don't tell anyone I beat you.
oh, I know, with a belt.
But they like it. Well, Miles, you have one of the funnest drag king names that I've seen in a while. And, and I am a connoisseur of drag names coming from Maliena Bitchcock. Tell me a little bit how you picked your drag name, Miles Long.
Miles Long came about sitting at a table in Cowfish, actually at drag queen karaoke, and we were like, seriously, guys, I really want to do this, and I need a name. I'm not very good at this, threw out what I could. And some hairy something or others and, you know, this and that, and didn't work out very well. And all of a sudden my drag mom came up with Miles Long. And I was just like, you know what? That's perfect. I was like, it's good enough to be an actual name, and it's totally amazing as a drag king name. You know, it's got that power, it's got that big dick energy, you know, it's got that oomph. I love it.
You know, you gotta love some good big dick energy. That's why I chose the name Bitchcock.
Yes.
Yeah, it just makes them know not to fuck with you, and I love that. And you know, I think your drag mother must have been really stoned and watching porn the whole night, because I swear that is a porn star name. Mm.
Well, if you know my drag mother.
So that actually might have happened.
Exactly. Babe is a fantastic drag queen and an amazing human being. And yes, I'm gonna flick as much shade as fucking possible because that's my mom.
Oh, that's so adorable. I can't be shady with her because she's bigger than me and she'll beat me up.
The big old softie.
I know. Now, tell me a little bit about the character that we know as Miles Long.
Miles is a God, I'm not gonna say this enough tonight. Big dick energy filled fuck boy, warrior, just all over the place, punk rock. Just the aesthetic changes so much. I'm mainly known for my dapper looks, you know, just looking real fly. Got my hair all, you know, done all nice and wavy, and I don't have my warrior bands on or nothing. But really, in all actuality, I change up so much. I'm genderqueer, I'm very fluid, and Miles is definitely the same, very suave, you know, just in your face, badass.
Yes. Now, you mentioned you're really into the big dick energy and your name is Miles Long. So, a fun question just to keep it fresh and a little dirty. Well, not if, let's just say, how big is your imaginary penis?
My imaginary penis is about 10 inches long, 11.
Oh my God, you're the same as me.
Yeah. So you know, it runs in the family.
I love that so much. Now, what is it that you like getting in touch with your more masculine side?
Oh, I love being able to just let loose, do the things that society doesn't expect of me, 24/7. I'm a full-time mom, you know. People expect me to just be a vagina 24/7. I'm not a vagina. I
Oh,
have one, you know.
your
I
vagina's got feelings too.
damn straight it does. My vagina has feelings too, damn it. So I just love being able to express that masculinity, and it's not a toxic masculinity either, you know, a little fuck boy, but Miles is still a baby.
You know, and that's the thing. You can be masculine without being toxic. And um, I have no idea what masculinity is. It's just not in my vocabulary, unless it's something I'm about to put in my mouth. I mean, then I know what masculine is. But you know, yeah, no, you know, I've always struggled with masculinity myself, and I've always been told, as young as I ever can remember, that you're just a little feminine. And to me, I just thought I was normal. I never really thought I was masculine or feminine. So I feel like the idea of that masculine feminine balance that we all are so concerned about as adults are actually imprinted on us as kids, because, you know, when it comes down to us, we really don't care what gender we are when we're kids. And we just know that we have either a little extra dangly thing between our legs or a lack of. And I think when we grow up, it's that idea of well, if you're going to be a man, you need to be a man. And if you're going to be a woman, you need to do this. And that's so fucking stupid because we should be able to be what we fucking want to be, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So drag gives me the freedom to do that.
Well, absolutely. Now, as we know, we can see this lovely, studly face today. You do use the power of makeup to create Miles Long. Tell us a little bit about your makeup process of creating Miles and what it takes to get those more masculine features.
I love that giggle, first off. That's just fantastic.
Aw, thank you, baby.
No, cutest thing ever. So honestly, it starts out this pretty much the same as any drag queen. We do our moisturizer, our primer, our foundation, we do our, powders, and then we go into our contour. And that's when it changes up a little bit. So as you can see, I have a more masculine forehead, trying to make it a little bit more prominent. It's definitely, you know, more masculine than you would see any woman. And then of course you've got your cheekbones, and your cheekbones normally you just want to contour under here as a female and then brush it down just a little bit. Well, as a man, you want to have a little bit of a sunken face, just slightly sunken in the cheeks, and it gives it a broader draw. So on top of that, of course, I use a lot of eyeshadow. I'm using a lot of eyeshadow today. I had to do a whole strip of eye primer and then just cake on as much of this eyeshadow as I could to get the right price going on here.
Miles, do me a favor, lean into the camera really quick, and of course you're gonna have to make noise so we can see you, so we can see that amazing facial hair you have drawn on.
Of course, of course. So here's my beard and my eyebrows and my sideburns. And these are all done with acrylic paint. And then, of course, I had to add the rainbow on both sides. And
wait, excuse me? You actually put acrylic paint on your face?
oh my God, yes, of course, I put acrylic paint on my face. My face has no reaction to it whatsoever. I don't have it on long enough for it to do anything, and the worst thing it's going to make me do is break out. It is a water-based paint, and it comes right off with a baby wipe. Non-toxic. I have no issues with it. The worst thing that happens during a show is that it cracks.
Oh, well, the same thing happens with my booty. Well, I love that. Now, tell us a little bit about your personality in drag, and do you think there is a major personality from when you slick back your hair, draw on the beard, to real life?
Yes, there's a major difference. I turn into a completely different person. Once I'm in drag, I become Miles Long. I become this energy that I want to portray. Suave, it all depends on the night too. Suave, I got a punk, vibe. I've got, a goth vibe. I've got dirty. I've got dapper, this obvious craziest Mad Max warrior vibe going on. I absolutely adore it. So the personality is just, it's always the same, just changing a little bit, depending on who's who and what's what.
No, and I love that. I mean, drag style really does depend on like what you're feeling in that moment and what you're planning on performing that evening. And even when doing these shows, it's like I try to coordinate with my guests, but at the same time, I want to be true to who Maliena Bitchcock is. And, also just be real about like today. Sometimes Maliena just gets a brand new costume in the fucking mail and says, I have to wear my new costume. And I love it. Just like today, I was like, I'm going to wear this tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And then you get a message from me today saying, fuck that, I'm wearing this.
I love it, and I absolutely adored it. I had no idea what I was going to wear today until today.
Mm. Well, you didn't have to wear anything if you didn't want to. You could just sat there and be like, I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money. Well,
Oh
or
my
not.
God.
I love it. Well, tell us a little bit about your drag style and what kind of looks we can expect from Miles Long.
So my drag style is really chaotic. Here's a little secret for everyone out there, if you don't already know. I don't practice. I literally, sometimes I don't even stretch, and it's a big no-no. It's a big no-no.
You stick your hand out right now and let me hit it. Ah! Bap, bap, bap.
Ow!
Oh my God, how do you not practice, girl? That's like key. You better fucking know your words. I mean it. I'm your auntie. I will smack your booty if you don't know your words.
You've seen me perform, and my words are on point, are they not?
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. Hey, just like yours.
I'm
Ah.
I'm perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. I always know my words. That's why I do a talk show now, so I don't have to know my words.
Exactly. So sometimes we all screw up, but most of the time, about 98% of the time, I know my words and I know my lines, but everybody screws up. I mean, you're on a stage full of people and they're, intimidating.
And I'm guessing, as you mentioned, you're a full-time mommy, so that probably makes it really hard, to go in your front room and try to practice. You probably go in there, start practicing, next thing you know, you have a toddler attached to your leg.
Exactly. There's no practice room in my house. So I get a main gist. I'll go through a song once, maybe twice. I get a main gist of what I'm gonna do and try to imagine all of the crowd. Once the crowd is in front of me, then the magic just kind of happens.
I love that. And, I think that's what kind of creates a certain, oh, I can't say the word, a certain, I don't know, I don't know how to say it, sponticity or whatever the word is.
Spontaneity.
Yeah, it creates a little bit of excitement and even creates an excitement for you as a performer because, I do practice my music and I do practice my dance moves because I'm an old queen. And if us old queens don't practice, we break a hip. So I definitely have to practice, but at times I still go on stage and let that music, what I call flow through me, and I let the music kind of control me a bit also because there's a certain, when I say let flow through you, it literally is the best way I can explain it because when you're on stage and you're listening to that music, sometimes that music fucking controls you and takes over.
Exactly. You end up vibing with it. You become part of that music. So it's pretty amazing. Um, I have to move my computer right down here. Sorry about that.
Oh, a better view. Move it a little lower so I can see how long Miles Long is. Oh,
Not
oh,
today.
not,
Ah.
not today, Satan, not today. Well, I am loving having you on my show. Now, we've talked a little bit about your style, where you like to get a little punk rock, but you also like to keep that suaveness. Do you ever play with celebrity impersonations or maybe even cosplay?
I've honestly thought about it, and I did a little bit of it in my early career. But recently I haven't really done too much. I've done the Tin Man,
Tell us
and
about the Tin Man a little.
the Tin Man, I actually did the most work on that costume. That I actually made some of my costume for. And I don't have a sewing machine or anything like that. So I did what I could. I had this bright silver jacket and these knee-high Chuck Taylors that are black, and I spray painted those black boots silver. and added like silver sparkles at the tips, and like my makeup was just on point. I looked like I was put together like the Tin Man.
Oh my God, I love that so much. If you only had a heart.
Yeah, if I only had a heart.
Well, I love it so much. Now, do you feel like Miles likes to be more masculine or he actually likes to play with gender more?
Lately, it's been gender more. It's just like kind of screw it. I think what happened was I broke my binder, and I don't want to actually bind. I had a special tank top that was just like a light binder, and it made it to where it looked like I had pecs, kind of like now, without the contour, and pretty much it broke. Um, or I ripped it or something for a show. I did something with it for a show.
You
And
just
so
got
now
too
I don't
buff.
have one. Hmm.
Your muscles just got too big and it ripped through it because you're just so strong.
Exactly. And then my man boobies came out, and it was wonderful, pasties and fun stuff.
I know, absolutely. Now, tell me a little bit where Miles gets some of the inspiration for his drag looks and his character.
So Miles is very into music. I'm very open to a lot of artists, and I also watch a lot of movies. So I grab a lot of my inspiration from the fuck boys in my life, the fuck boys on TV, people with that BDE, that big dick energy, and Prof. Prof is huge on that roster. Look him up, PROF, rapper from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Absolutely fantastic. Also a beautiful singer. So I get a lot of my energy from him.
I love that. Now, I used to take a lot of inspiration from the characters I witnessed growing up as a kid, and especially as a teenager. I took a lot from like Peg Bundy, Elvira, even Mimi from the Drew Carey Show. Um, did you any of those impacts that you grew up with, those characters or celebrities, did those leave any impacts on you?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, yeah. Especially when you say Mimi Bobek, she really from the Drew Carey show, she really inspired me. And then of course there's tons. I was inspired by quite a few of the same people. I absolutely adore Elvira. Who doesn't? Uberella, you know.
How did you feel about some of the studly over the top people like, let's say, James Bond, even Pee Wee Herman, those men that kind of created a character that we just fell in love with?
Those men are absolutely adorable and amazing, and I fell in love with them as well. I really bonded towards James Dean, a lot of the like Henry Bogart, a lot of the older guys from the 1940s and 50s. Those guys really got me going. And that's where my dapper stuff comes from a lot of the time, or my bad boy side. James Dean will come out and just, God, ram right into that tree.
Oh my God, yes, tell me more. Now, tell me, can we ever expect you to do an Elvis routine? Ooh.
Oh, I've never been asked to do an Elvis routine, but dear Lord knows that I'm going to.
Well,
That's,
can I make one request if you do it?
yes.
There's too much of the realistic Elvis impersonators. If you're going to do Elvis, please give me the old, gutted, like, old man Elvis eating a corn dog and, oh my God, drinking a beer. Like, I love that comedy Elvis.
I want to bring a toilet on stage, like a styrofoam toilet, like that I construct around a chair or something. And I want to do that fat bloated Elvis routine and him having his heart attack on the toilet.
Oh, oh, oh my God, you're going to make people freaking get PTSD on stage. Goodness.
Oh, there'll be a warning.
Oh, good. Okay. Then
I follow rules.
Well, now tell me a little bit what you like most about being a drag king.
I do love it when people call me daddy.
Oh my God. Well, let me just try it. Hey, daddy.
Oh, yeah. You know, there's back alleys that Miles is known to just fill up lines and peg little. Yeah.
You're definitely from my family because I've definitely been known to end up in a back alley once in a while, but usually I come back with my lips smeared.
Yes, honey. Normally I have lip smear on me.
No, I love that. Now, do you get an adrenaline? Like, when it comes to being a drag king and what you love about it is the adrenaline that you're on stage, is it the confidence you feel, or is it the ability to express your art?
Dear Lord knows it's all three of them. But the ability to express my art freely is definitely one of them. One of my That's my top. You know, I just get that rush and excitement from the fact that people are getting to see my art and enjoying it nonetheless.
Oh my God, yes. And you're quite the entertainer. I love not only watching you as a performer, but being at a venue with you during a show because you bring such a positive and fun energy that, especially if, because we all know that we all go through our little panics when we go on stage, no matter how long we've been performing. We all get nervous, we all get scared to go on stage. And what makes it easier sometimes is having a good group of people around you that keep the energy fun, keep the positivity, and if there needs to be a helping hand backstage, that's offered. And I can say you're always willing to offer me an extra hand, especially on the boobies.
Yeah, anytime, Auntie. We keep it in the family, you know.
Well, we are from Oregon. Well, let's talk a little bit about what we can expect from a Miles long performance.
Oh wow, you can expect a lot. I get crazy. I get grindy. I get just all over the place. You want to talk about a mess? I've made a mess on stage. You want to talk about making people uncomfortable, you know, in a slight comfortable way? Yeah, I can do that too. But it's really all over the place. Miles is everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
And what kind of music do you tend to be attracted to for your performances?
I absolutely adore rap in a certain manner because it's funny rap, especially. Funny rap really gets me. But I absolutely love, I would have to say, some good old fashioned rock, alternative rock, 90s. That's where I like to go.
Oh my gosh, yes. Do you ever go for that like boy band realness though?
Oh yeah, honey. I've done some NSYNC Bye 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 before. Made myself kind of look like a puppet and really had that dapper look to me, and that, you know, the backwards trucker hat and all that sexy vibe. And yeah, oh yeah, pulled out some dance moves from high school.
Oh my goodness. Now, it's definitely, you're quite the entertainer. And tell me, what do you think makes you stand out from other performers?
I am absolutely not afraid to do pretty much anything on stage. If I fall, I'm gonna keep going. If I am broken already, I'm still going to get on stage. If I am just if the opportunity is there, Miles is afraid of absolutely nothing.
I love that. Now, tell me, what is your most memorable time on stage? where you just lived all your life and felt like it was your best performance? Mm.
Oh, it's kind of silly. I have a few of those moments. I think a lot of us do. I think I have to give two examples in this case because I perform a lot of all ages shows and I do a lot of 21 and overs. So I think the two examples are going to be when I did Scarnita, which was my version of Scar from The Lion King, and I just lived for that performance. We did a Disney Villains Night, and it was just fantastic. The pictures from that performance just made it. I live for them. The makeup was fantastic and on point. And then on top of everything, my second favorite performance, or my other favorite performance, would be when I did my very first burlesque, and that would be at Dragageddon.
Oh, I love that. Now, do you ever get crazy or really like over the top with your drag? Like, what's the craziest thing you've done on stage?
So I've done a few things. I've dropped my crutch on stage and had a busted knee and just performed like that. And then I've also had some fake blood and just poured that all over me on stage.
You know, if you get hurt on stage, we don't offer workman's comp, correct?
Yeah, we also don't get unemployment.
Ugh, the truth is real on that, and these are hard times. And let's just be real: the lack of shows and all of our shows being canceled, it's hard, and it's definitely affecting all of us. With that said, if you don't mind me, my handsome Miles, I'm just going to make a quick announcement to all our beautiful boys and girls and all of those in between who are watching today. If you're enjoying this fantastic interview and want to show a little appreciation to a starving artist who has trouble speaking, which is myself, and a handsome stud who is just willing to spill all the tea, please look down below within the description where you can find both me and Miles's tip information so you can tip both of us or just them, because I'd prefer they at least get tipped over me for spilling all the tea and having a good old time with my titties. Now, Miles, my love, tell me in 3 words, only 3, how you would describe Miles Long.
I am spunky, I am crazy, and I am energetic.
Okay. Now, the spunky, energetic, and what was the third?
Crazy.
Crazy. Oh God, you're definitely from my family. The moment you said crazy, I'm like, oh fuck, that paternity test was right. Because I love that. But do you think that craziness gives you more of a daringness to break the boundaries?
It really does, but it also gives me the knowledge to know what certain boundaries shouldn't be broken. So I really, I'm fairly balanced crazy.
Oh, we gotta love a good balanced crazy. Now, we have quite a few drag queens, but we also have some amazing gender fluid performers out here in Eugene and some drag kings. Are there any local or maybe even famous drag kings that you've taken inspiration from?
Yes, tons. So Beezus is one of them. Lately, He Coli, even though they're a little younger than me, they're really amazing. I take inspiration a lot from their energy. Landon Cider, for famous people, absolutely. Just gotta adore Landon. And even Hollow's Eve or Hollow Eve. They are not even necessarily a drag performer, but they are fantastic.
Well, how about like Spiky Von Dyke? You better be like getting inspired by that studly creature because they are legendary.
Oh, honey, I was getting there. You got to save the best for last, darling. Spiky
Well,
Van Dyke.
we gotta love a professional. I mean, the people like that. I've always dreamed, and I'm praying someday it will happen, that we'll get like Spiky Von Dyke's drag king competition, And I mean, I would love to see you fabulous kings get pushed up to the platform that you all deserve, because I mean, especially Land Insider proved this last season of Dragula that drag kings are just as fucking valid as any fucking queen and can turn the looks and turn the performances. Would you ever consider going on a platform like that if they were to only, well, not only feature kings, but feature kings along with other performers, or focus on kings?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. That's something that I would definitely strive towards.
Okay. You know, I love that. Now, what do you think makes Miles Long so fearless on stage?
This, this,
Ooh,
this.
is that magic go-go juice?
That's my happy juice. That's my happy juice, and it definitely helps. But really, the confidence that comes from Miles, the confidence that comes from this makeup and this look, and the preparation that goes into it as well. It's just everything that really brings me to my persona and what I'm going to be that night.
Absolutely. And what do you think makes Miles stand out from other drag kings?
Miles is strange. Miles is not afraid to gender bend and just break the boundaries. Miles wants to show color. Miles wants to show expression through their art. As you can see, I'm very prideful today. It is Pride Month. I freaking love it. I just could not help myself. Like, I have to go all out. And Miles is just that personality. So I think my makeup and my expression when I perform makes me stand out.
I love that. And, you know, I love that you know when to break the rules and you know when to follow them. And I love that the more you're diving into the drag world, you're finding more who Miles is. And Miles doesn't have to fit a certain box of what a drag king is. And you don't even necessarily have to identify as a drag king. As you mentioned before, you could go as a drag queen, or was it, how do you say it?
Queen.
Queen. It always just sounds like queen out of my mouth with my lisp. So, so, but no, I love being those more gender fluid performers are sometimes some of the most entertaining, because they're literally not in any box and they are just able to come on stage and be so true to who they are. And I think that's one reason Miles is so entertaining, is because he is also unpredictable, but at the same time, you don't know if he's going to come out with like this hyper masculine look, or if he's going to come out and really just have his titties out and fuck with you a little.
Exactly. It's my favorite part of performing. Like, you never know what's going to happen with me on stage. I could be taking off this corset to reveal a big old set of titties and just shake them around. I could be, full mask and pull out my cock. You never know.
I love it. And do you ever play with more of a femme male character? Because I personally, one of my favorite drag kings that's actually out in the UK is called Adam All. And he's more of a flamboyant, feminine male character, but he really has a swag to him. And he's kind of that gay drag king. It's like that gay guy. And do you ever play with that side of the masculine scale?
A little bit I have. And recently, this right here, this is kind of playing with that a little bit right here, from about here down. This right here, the color palette, you can kind of say that, but nah.
But you're also giving me a little bit of I'm a sweet transvestite from Transylvania. That you're giving me a little Frankenfurter.
I love it. If I had a pearl necklace right now, honey.
Well, here, I could probably whip one up for you really quick, just the old-fashioned way. Well, I love that. Do you ever take inspiration from someone who likes to play with gender and is about my age range, from a fantastic movie and Broadway hit, The Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Oh yes, yes, all the time. Frankenfurter's energy, Rocky's energy, Magenta's, Columbia's, Riff Raffs, they're all fantastic and have been a huge part of my life since I was a kid. I've been time warping since I was 5. Broke my big toe warping. So
Oh.
I absolutely, and I've seen the show live at the Clinton so many times. Um, yeah.
Well, shows like the Rocky Horror Picture Show really are really fun to be at and brings out a lot of emotions. Speaking of emotions, tell us a little bit what you want an audience to take away from a miles long performance.
Again, mostly depends on the evening. But generally, I want you to feel what I am bringing on stage. I want you to feel the same emotions. So if I'm out there performing a Marilyn Manson song about hating capitalism and just fuck the world, I want you to feel that same raw emotion. But I also want you to take away a lesson from it. Generally every song that I perform has some type of lesson that I want the crowd to hear. So that's where I'm at with it.
Oh, I love it. Now, you are a man or a king of many talents, and you he's on top of also performing, you also produce several shows. In fact, you're well known for producing an all-age show that we have out here in Eugene, Oregon at Spectrum called Drag Out Loud. Tell me a bit about that, bitch.
So Drag Out Loud is an amazing all ages drag variety show that was originally started by me and my drag mother and was called Razzle Dazzle. And then eventually it was given up to me so my drag mother could do other things. And Drag Out Loud was actually a name that I had the audience come up with so I could give them a prize. And I was like, guys, I really need to change the name and I want you to give me a good idea. And sure as all get out, they gave me Drag Out Loud, and that person got the coolest little prize, and we've been going ever since. Changed it to theme shows. We have a theme used to have a theme every month, and now it'll be quarterly once we get back going on. We have kids. I've had the youngest performer I've had on my stage was I think 5 years old. And we have kids from all over, all the way up in Salem, Albany, right here in Eugene. We have jugglers, we have musicians, we have all sorts of artists.
I love that. Now, if you don't mind me asking, tell me why you think it is important to include all ages within these shows and to expose them a little bit to the queer world, or not just expose them, but to at least include them in that world if they want to be there.
So it's very important. I have 2 children. I have a 10-year-old son and I have a 4-year-old daughter. And to me, if they grew up in a life where they weren't allowed to see that or was taught it was wrong or just wasn't acknowledged, I wouldn't be okay. They need to know, just like every other child. It's the world that they live in, and if they need a safe space as well, I mean, it's very important to have that safe space. So we try to give that to them. We try to give that to the families as well. And for those who don't have those families with them, we try to be their family.
And that's what you have to do is a lot of especially queer children don't have that open understanding with their parents. I hear it's getting a lot better with the kids these days. They have parents who are willing to open up a little more, but it's still a struggle. And there's still those kids who are scared to come out and are scared to be true to who they are. So it's nice that you create a space where they can be 100% who they want to be and come be appreciated, not be judged, and just have fun, even if it's just for a couple hours. So I think it's truly beautiful that you do that. Now, what is the ultimate goal that you're hoping to accomplish with Drag Out Loud?
So we really want to do a lot of charity, and that's coming up here very soon. We've already done a couple things on charity work, but the main goal is, like I said before, to really give a safe space, to really allow this to envelop and just grow and help children grow and their families also grow.
Well, I love that. And what kind of work do you have to put into helping these kids maybe put together a performance or kind of know what goes into creating a performance?
So they always have a free line to me, be it phone or on Messenger, and pretty much they almost have it handled. They some of these guys have been doing it for a lot of their childhood. Some of them have just been exposed to it before, and are very lucky to know. But for those who haven't, they just ask kind of the simple questions. What does it take? What should I do? I don't tell them I don't practice, but I do tell them, well, you should practice. You should go through it many, many times. Make sure you've got your makeup, your outfit taken care of, pertaining to whatever song you're doing or whatever theme there is. And a lot of the time they want questions, or they have questions about the theme and what they should wear, or and I just go through that with them. It's just like having a bunch of kids.
No, absolutely. Now, tell me a bit what you think, because you're the producer, the MC, and a performer, what's the most challenging part of putting on the show and wrangling all these kids?
So wrangling the kids is kind of hard, but like I said, some of them have been doing it for a while. Um, God, sometimes it's just mainly the adult performers that have an issue wrangling in, but we're all, hectic. And then, but the biggest issue is always trying to get the music in on time, trying to get everything timed in, and the crowd, is sometimes there before the music is there. And I have all of the music, but sometimes technology doesn't want to work. So it takes time, patience, and a lot of perseverance.
I know, absolutely. Being a producer is not easy, and there's a reason I don't produce anymore because it's just a lot of stress. And I guess I do produce because I do bitch talk, but you know, it takes a lot of work because everything's in your hands. So getting a DJ to putting together the cast to making sure the cast gets the music in on time and making sure that everyone's doing their part to make sure that show is successful. And when everything's on your shoulders, it creates lots of fucking stress. And especially when you're emceeing also and hosting the show, that has to be hard.
It is really difficult. And like I said, I mean, I've been doing it for a while now, so it's kind of gotten, a little bit easier. It's almost like riding a bike, but I never get less awkward on the microphone. I always have that issue.
Me too, honey. It's okay. Now, how does the community react to these shows? Do you see a lot of the families coming out to support these kids? And do you also see the community themselves coming out to check out these all ages shows?
I do. I do. And some days, because they were on a Sunday, they've been changed to Saturdays quarterly. So hopefully we'll get a bigger crowd. But really, we do get a lot of outreach. We do get a lot of families coming in with their family, their kids, and it's wonderful. And then, of course, other drag performers come out and check this out all the time, and I love it.
I love that. And do you feel like when these kids bring their families, and if do they usually understand what the kids are wanting to do and what they're going through, wanting to be a drag performer, or do you feel like it's an education process for those families also to come to those shows, see what everyone's doing, and say, oh, so that's what they're wanting to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's an education process. It's either they want to do drag, or they want to be trans, or they want to go through some sort of transformation. And generally, the parents are either really, really cool with it already, or they're really wanting to just get the education. And I've seen a lot of positive reviews from it.
I love that. Now, what would you say is the most rewarding part of producing these shows and creating this safe space?
Seeing the smiles and the happiness in the room. There's a serious energy that happens with these families, with these children. It's just fantastic. I've never seen something more alive. It's almost like going to a rock concert and you're the rock star and they're all, bowing at you, except for you're the one person in the crowd and all of these kids are the rock stars and you're bowing to them because they make you feel like you've just done something amazing and they can do anything.
I love that. And it's true. I mean, you're showing these kids what the power of drag can do to your life. And as we said, drag can severely affect your confidence, not just when you have the wigs and the makeup on, but even in everyday life, once you take it all off, it gives you a certain confidence, a certain knowing who you are, and teaching that to kids, especially at an early age, it's going to help them hopefully later on in life and help them kind of balance out what's going on inside their brains. Because we all know we use drag as therapy, and there's a reason I'm so sane.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Well, I love it. Now, you have also produced a few 21 plus shows. Tell us about some of those.
So my 21 and plus shows, I absolutely adorable, or I, I absolutely adore them. And the reason why is because I have this freedom. I don't have to have a filter. I have kids of my own, so I always have to have a filter. But definitely, I get to do whatever I want. For instance, a show at Old Nick's that would have happened before quarantine called Drag Less Cirque du Kink. We were going to have drag performers and burlesque performers doing the opposite and the same at the same time. So they were doing drag and burlesque and drag, and all of it was kinky. So I mean that's a huge thing. That's a huge freedom. Who does that? Nobody. So I mean, yeah.
No, and I mean, I get that. And it does sound like you definitely try to cross some boundaries. I mean, and you, well, I mean, you as a person sometimes like the kinkier side of life. Do you try to bring that into these 21 plus older shows? Let them know that it's also a kink positive space.
Very much so. Kink positivity is huge. I don't allow kink shaming when it comes to anything like that. Like, I'm always curious, just like anybody else, but curiosity is curiosity. But yes, kink positivity is huge.
Well, I love that. Me and my partner are pretty kinky ourselves. We like to play with the ropes. He likes to dress up like a puppy. I like him to make him lick my boots just because it makes me feel powerful. And
That's
I
hot.
wish I was joking, but that's all true.
That's hot.
Well, I have to make him know who's boss, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I love it when you call me ma'am. It makes me feel so powerful. Ugh. Well, Studley, tell me a little bit. Now, as a king, do you ever feel like you are treated differently within the drag community?
Yes, a little less so nowadays. In the beginning, it was a little harder. From some performers, I still get some issues. From some crowd members, I still get some issues.
Tell me
I'm
who they
just
are. I'll beat them up. Oh, wait, I can't say that. Tell me who they are. I'll talk shit about them. Oh, wait, I can't say that. Tell me who they are. I'll buy them a drink.
yeah, there we go. I'll tell you who they are later, Auntie. But no, for real, it's not that bad anymore. My drag is still in the baby mode, and I am still gaining my respect and gaining my knowledge and always willing to learn more. So, yeah.
Well, there's always going to be a challenge, and people don't always understand what we're doing. Now, with that said, do you feel like the audience appreciates the drag kings when they come to stage, especially as much as they do as like a drag queen would? Or do you feel like even the audience sometimes has a different perception of what a drag king does?
The audience can sometimes be a little weirded out by it too, because they're like not used to it. And they also don't take it as seriously sometimes, you know? They're just like, well, this is just a chick who wants to do the same thing that these guys are doing right here, but she's doing it as a dude, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, you know. So it, and I see it happen to a lot of other drag kings too. A lot of other drag kings get, you know, looked at funny or whatever. Or some of them get more respect than me and they look like shit and it bothers the fuck out of me.
Well, and that definitely can be frustrating. Tell me about some of the things you do, especially on stage, to break those boundaries with the audience, to allow them to feel more comfortable with you and to relate with you a little more.
So my song choices, like I said, have been very careful and curious for the last 2 years almost, because I do want my audiences to get to know me, my fan base to get to know me a little better as a person. And I also, I reach out. I like to smile a lot, and I like to show my body language and show my emotion through my body language, so people can relate to me a little bit more. They're able to, you know, generally accept my touch because I'm reaching out and waiting for their acceptance. And it turns out pretty all right. Gotta say so.
Well, I love that. And that's because you're a loving, beautiful creature. And most people, as long as you put the shady bitches aside, will see that and know that you're just trying to do like the rest of us. Come to stage, show who you are, express your art, and make a dollar if you can.
Right, yeah. You know, it's all about the art. It really is. It is all about expressing and giving that raw emotion. And you know,
Yeah.
the shade I flick is just barely anything. I love everyone. I love all of my fellow performers, and I think everyone is doing amazing. And I just want to uplift everyone.
Well, and I love that, and that's definitely the attitude to have. But I am curious, especially knowing that kings don't always get the same appreciation that, let's say, the drag queens do. Have you ever considered maybe doing a full drag king review featuring a lot of the local drag king performers or maybe gender fluid performers that we have within our community?
Of course, I have been wanting to do that. I have been a part of a few. I've done one right here in Eugene. I've done one in Portland. So pretty much, it's on my list, most certainly. They're a fantastic feeling. They really are. And we get a lot of love too. If it's just the drag kings, we get tons of love. But that's
Is it
just
a different experience doing just a drag king show then?
yeah, it's definitely a different experience, but I wouldn't change working with drag queens for the world.
Well, I might, just because some of them are bitches, including myself. Well, I'm loving this, and you are one of my favorites, and you are actually my drag nephew because I like to refer to myself as the fun auntie for most of the drag children out there because I'm way too young to have any children myself, of course. And I love to help people. I love to encourage people to be who they are. And when you came fresh out of Babe's womb and had your jazz fingers, you clung on to me. And because Babe was all dried up in her boobies, I had to breastfeed you all the glitter to make sure you were nourished and taken care of. And I have to say, I'm quite proud of the creature you've turned into and what you're doing with your drag because you are really showing that even as a newer performer, you can do great things.
That's true. That's true. Anybody can do anything that they want in this life, and I am sometimes living proof of that. Um, I have performed with a knee that just had surgery. I performed and broke that kneecap to where I had to have surgery. You know, I've done a lot of crazy shit on stage, and I wouldn't change any of it for the world. And I love you all.
Oh, I love you too, baby, but don't tell anyone because then I'm gonna have to take you into the woods. Well, tell us a little bit. Do you feel like that drag kings are starting to become a little more mainstream than they used to be?
Yes, yes, very much so. Especially since Spiky and Landon and a lot of the other drag kings that are out there just killing it right now. There are so many. I watch so many YouTube videos on all of these amazing drag king performances, and I part of Drag Kings Unite on Facebook, and there's so many out there that are just killing it. So yes, we're a movement. We're becoming strong, and yeah, I fucking love it.
Absolutely. Now, tell me what you are ultimately hoping to accomplish with your drag career.
You know what? I want to be a little more well known in Eugene, so I can have a little bit of a voice. And I would like to perform at Pride one more time at least. That would be a huge accomplishment for me, and I would love to do that on my own. And I also want to win Queen. The Queen pageant at some point is on my list. So I have some aspirations, and I also just want to bring awareness and bring our community a little closer together. There's a little too much of the separation within our own community, and divided we, will fall. And I can't have that.
No, and this is definitely the time to show that unity and to come together and really fight for the things we need to fight for right now because again, the world is in chaos and it's going to take every single voice there is out there to make a difference, including making your vote known. So with that said, please go out and vote because right now that is the biggest way we're going to be able to make a difference is getting that madman that lives in that little White House out in Washington out of office because he's doing more damage to this world than I think we even expected him to do because he, in his 4 years, has done so much destruction and so much taking us back to almost the 60s where he questions women's rights. We're having to literally do a whole revolution fighting for Black Lives Matter. And it's sad because he just vote, get him out of office. He's such a madman, and he just frustrates me even thinking about him. Sorry.
No, for sure. Vote. Definitely get your voice heard.
Now, I am curious. What is something, we should ultimately know about Miles Long?
Pertaining to?
Well,
I got Warren.
God, just your personality, your dick length, your abilities on stage. Are you available for meetings? Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, so Miles is not available for meetings unless it is after a performance, because that's just how that works. But Miles is going to bring you energy all the time. I'm going to move and use that stage. I'm going to fall. I'm going to trip, and I'm going to make it look fucking good. Get your asses out to every goddamn show that I do. I swear to God, if you don't, I don't know who the hell you are anymore.
Yes. Well, as you've mentioned before, you've already once gotten the ability to perform at Pride, and you definitely want to do it again. Tell me a little bit what it means to you to be able to be featured at Pride as a drag king and to be able to perform in front of the entire community.
To be featured at Pride would be just a dream come true, because I'm able to express myself in front of people who have been doing our Pride forever and who have been a part of our community forever. and they're heroes of mine. And to be able to perform at Pride would just absolutely just thrill me.
Aw, I love that you called me a hero.
You are.
Oh, please. I'm just a weird drag queen from Medford, Oregon. Well, I love it. And you bring a lot of heart to the world of drag, especially as a drag king. And I really do appreciate having you in our world because we really do need more diversity, especially within the drag world, because drag is always evolving and always changing. And the more things that we can offer within those shows and within that world, the better it's going to get. And I'm just grateful that you're part of it with us.
Thank you, Auntie. I appreciate it.
Of course. Now, you have worked with a lot of queens. Do you tell us a little bit? Do you have any favorites and any of the queens in the community that also support you? And there was a reason I also kissed your ass.
Well, so yes, Maliena, you are definitely one of them. You will always be one of my huge supports. Latacia is also a huge support. Babe is wonderful, wonderful drag mother and a huge support. I have been loved and shown love by Bonnie Rose and Uranus the Fool and Nikki Serene, and I love you all. Caress and Slaughter, just all of you queens are so inspirational to me and have given me so much confidence and love every time you see me. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. And that was such a pageant answer. No, I love it.
Also world peace.
World peace. Well, honey, I love that you are a person of love and that you want to just give that love to everyone, especially in the back room of the adult shop.
Ah!
Yes. Now, tell me, have you ever considered doing a duet or with one of these fantastic queens?
Yes, 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 yes. All of my yeses. I've just been waiting for the queens to ask, just because I'm a little too nervous too sometimes.
Well, honey, get some balls. Oh, get some balls. As a king.
And they come with my packer.
Oh, they don't. Are they sold separately?
They are.
Okay, well, buy those separately. Get some balls, and honey, ask us because I'll tell you, us queens sometimes just want to know that there are people wanting to do that kind of things with us, and a lot of the time, we don't even think of that as something that's possible. So, honey, get the balls. Ask some queens, including me, and let's do some duets, honey, because there are some iconic, iconic songs that we could bring to life. Mm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm all about it. Let's do it, honey.
Wait, do it right now with the cameras watching?
Yes.
I suppose we could. Oh, no, 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 you naughty little boys and girls and all those in between. That's not that kind of show. Well, speaking of show, we're actually getting towards the end a little bit. So let's see if we can push along a little bit. Now, Miles, you have done some fantastic things within your drag career. One of the most recent things is you were actually featured within a music video called Rainbow that was produced and sang by one of our legendary drag queens here in Eugene, Oregon, named Latacia. And you were actually featured within that music video. Tell me a little bit about that experience and what it meant to you to be in that music video.
So it meant the world to be featured in Rainbow. That song is so powerful and so inspirational and makes me cry every time. I was not only featured in the music video, but I also helped her make most of it on the level of where you can see her in the video. It's just an absolutely amazing song
No, absolutely. And in fact, that was the
We
next
went
question
on the
was,
beach. We went to
oh, we had a weird glitch. What did you all do during that music video, love?
so we went to the beach and shot a couple shots from there. We went onto uh, some of her family's property and went to a barn that she had set up with lights and stuff like that. And I set up the other lights and shot some shots there. So we did some amazing things for the video.
Oh my God, absolutely. Did you help produce any other videos or film any of the other music videos or do any other photo shoots with Slutasia?
I did the zombie photo shoot in the promos for Slutasia for Halloween this last year. I also helped out with filming her New Year's Eve concert with Roulette Delgado and yourself.
I know,
Um,
I was gonna say I was in both those shows because in the
yeah.
zombie show, I was one of her surprise guests and I came and did a zombie burlesque routine. And then for New Year's, I mean, when you start making friends with Slutasia, you get booked with some good shows. And that was a fucking amazing show. She had her concert, and then you also had some legendary performers such as Diva Simone Slaughter, myself, and even Ava Rice. And you want to talk about a good energy night? That was like one of the best shows I can remember, just because all of us had a really good energy. Slutasia brought an amazing concert to the stage, and I love that you were kind of behind the scenes filming us all when we didn't even know it. I could have been posing for the camera and you didn't even know.
Yes, yes. No, I'm sneaky. I'm sneaky with the camera. But I'm also very sneaky as well when I go on stage to perform sometimes. During the zombie show, I performed as or under the name of Vix and did a music set. I sung the song Zombie by the Cranberries live. So, yeah.
Oh, I love it. And I love pushing those boundaries. Now, tell me a bit. Let me look at my notes. Big lashes, little writing. What is it like? Because Slutasia is quite the mega superstar. Do you have any behind the scenes tea or drama that you could spill about working with the one and only like Slutasia? Does she like demand her bowl of green M&Ms and then a muscular man fanning her with a banana leaf? What kind of demands does she ask for?
Well, that those are pretty similar to the demands, honestly. But but she generally gets a really fat guy and a bowl of brown M&Ms because I can't remember what happened to the green ones.
Oh,
But no, on the real, she's absolutely amazing. She is fantastic. She's a little diva-ish, but she has every right to be. I think we all are. You know, you want to have your video perfect. You want your audience to see what you want your audience to see, and she gets it through. So it's
you know,
no
I
anger.
squealed a little when you called her diva-ish, but you know, honestly, there's nothing wrong with being a little diva-ish, especially when you're producing a song, a video, and you're trying to get that image in your head out and you're trying to get other people to work with it. So, you know what, girl? Keep being a diva because once you earn that status, you're allowed to be a diva. I mean, I
Damn
know
straight.
all too well.
Damn straight. I called her a diva the entire photo shoot, and I absolutely adore her, and just the same. She is so amazing, and fun to work with too. Really easy to direct, really easy to you know talk between each other and communicate.
And isn't she just a wonderful person to be around? Like, I love Slutasia because she puts on the queen bee persona, like she's the baddest bitch of them all. But you know, underneath it all, she's just a big teddy bear, and me and her are so close. And it's like me and her start talking on Messenger, and it's kind of fun to see that reaction because she'll make a little cute smartass comment, and then of course I'm bitchcock, so I make a little smartass comment back, and then you know it's that joy of having a connection with a star like that because let's just be real. Let's be real, everyone. Flutasia is way too big for Eugene, Oregon. That bitch needs to travel the fucking world with her talents.
Amen. Can I get a hallelujahs up in here right now?
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Well, I love it so much. Now, we are again towards the end of this interview. We just have a few more things we want to check out. Now, what are you hoping to do next with your drag career?
You know, I am just really trying to achieve my small little goals and just go from there, really enjoy myself, express myself, and show others it's okay to do that as well.
No, and I think that's gorgeous and beautiful. Now, since quarantine has happened, it's really tied our hands a little bit, and not in a fun way. Tell us a little bit, could we expect any virtual performances from Miles Long?
Well, of course. I'm definitely trying to get something together for Drag Out Loud, so something all ages, and I've done at least 2 virtual performances since quarantine. So I'm going to do another one here in about a week. So be on my page and be on the lookout, or on my Taryn Renard page.
No, and I love that. And I think it's kind of fun because even though quarantine and all of this is awful that's going on in the world, especially, COVID and the numbers rising in the world, and we're probably going to have to go with another quarantine soon. It's giving people, though, a platform to be a little more creative than what we would normally do, because now you see all these amazing performers that we work with left and right creating like music videos and these great performances that you can't necessarily bring to a stage. And so it's nice seeing people be really creative and push stuff, especially during these hard times, because let's just admit it, these are some fucking hard times right now. And for people to keep pushing their talents and sharing it with the world, it's so beautiful.
I feel like we're all getting fucked in the ass a little too hard right now. But
and we didn't even use lube.
Yeah, no lube, no mercy. It's just 2020 has been, the lube bottle is empty. This is the meme, you guys. Like, the lube bottle is empty and it's a cactus. This is what we're getting fucked by right now. But you know what? I give not one bit of a fuck, because we are going to kill this no matter what. You can't bring down us. You can't bring down our spirit and our performer energy.
And there's one thing I've learned is when you put a lot of people with the same initiative to one goal, they can change the world itself. And I think that's what's going to happen soon, is we're going to see some major world changes, and that are, let's just admit it, some really well needed world changes. So let me just say it first and foremost for all my viewers out there, in case you don't know this, Black lives fucking matter. And I know a lot of you want to say all lives matter, but all lives are not going to matter until Black lives matter and are treated at the same level as anyone else in this world. And right now, especially being Pride Month and us as a queer community, we need to be standing with our brothers and sisters of color and standing with them, because if we're truly been fighting for equality all these years, then we should be fighting with the people who truly need us right now. And right now, I'm going to say it, and I don't care if people unsubscribe or stop watching this show. Black lives matter, and it's time to really fight for them and make that said. And with that also said, I want you to look down below in the description, where you can also find several links to actually support the Black Lives Matter movement, including donating to the Portland Bail Fund, donating to the George Floyd Memorial Fund, and also donating to the Black Lives Matter website. So please look down below within the description so you can see how you can support. And Miles, do you have anything you would like to say on that matter?
Black lives fucking matter. Straight up. Say their names. Say their names loud and proud, and support. Please do. Especially during these times. Because like Maliena said, we're back in the 60s. It's some bullshit. We can't do this anymore. Let's be right, people. Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely. And it's time to make some changes in our world. And that starts with making every single voice heard and supporting the people who need us and voting, because people, we need to vote and to make those major changes, because as long as that madman is still in that White House, we're going to keep going back in time, and it's just going to get worse and worse. So, okay, now with the hard subject done, let's finish this interview and move to some of our games, because we all like to play a little game. Now, Miles, I have some really hard questions for you, and I think these are going to throw you so off. No, I'm kidding. Tell me a little bit, because you've known your auntie for almost your whole drag career. Do you have any fun or crazy stories hanging with the one and only Maliena Bitchcock?
Are you sure you want me to tell these stories, Maliena?
Honey, I've already told stories about sucking dick in the back alley. So, yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't have nothing to hide. Don't you fucking incriminate me, you little bitch.
Honestly, the most incriminating thing that I could possibly say is still legal. We smoke. That's about it. And the funniest thing is that Maliena she's hilarious when she smokes. When she gets stoned, she's a joy to be around and hilarious. Just, I bow to you, almighty stoner Maliena.
I think it's funny that you think I'm hilarious, because I think you're hilarious right now that you think that I'm not stoned half the time, because bitches, I can honestly say no one has seen me sober in probably 20-something years, because, honey, I love me the devil's lettuce. Oh, God, I love the devil's lettuce so much, especially with a little semen on top. Mwah!
Yeah, the devil's semen, that nice waxy stuff. Yeah, put that right around the devil's lettuce. I'm about that.
Oh my gosh. Well, one of my favorite memories is, every time you would show up to our shows, or even at a venue where we were in drag, even if you were passing by, I felt like you always went out of your way to spread happiness and positivity, because you would come up, be like, Auntie, and give me a big squeeze, and then even tell me how beautiful I was, even if you had to lie. And I really appreciate that.
I have never had to lie to you, Auntie. Not fucking once.
Well, that's
I love
good.
you.
Because, I'm easy to lie to because I'm dumb. Well, one last question before we go into our games. What did you think about your experience on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock?
Oh, I give it a 9.5. It was pretty fucking... No, I'm kidding. I give it a fucking 11, because turn it up to fucking 11. It was amazing, and I love you, Auntie.
Oh, thank you, baby. What do you think of this platform and what it's doing for our community?
I think it's brilliant. Right now, it's very much so needed platform.
No, and I agree. I thank you for being a part of it and allowing us to dive deeper into the world of a drag king and into that brain of Miles Long, because we know it's dirty in there. And I just appreciate you going in, coming on my show, and coming on my chest also. So,
to say.
well, don't go anywhere quite yet. We're going to play a little game and have a little fun before we say goodbye to all of our beautiful people. But before we do, I have some announcements I have to do, boys and girls, and all those in between. So if you enjoyed this fantastic interview with the one and only Miles Long, again, look down below within that description where you can find PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App information, and you can tip them for spilling all the tea. And of course, if you love Bitch Talk with Bitchcock regularly, you can always tip me also. Everything that you tip me, it does definitely help pay for all the makeup. But also, I want to encourage you to also look down below to look where you can support Black Lives Matter. Again, you can donate to the Bail Fund out in Portland. You can donate to the George Floyd Memorial Fund, or you can just support the movement itself. Every little bit makes a difference. Now, with that also said, I want to see all you beautiful people tune in this Friday. And I cannot tell you how legendary this episode's going to be. This may be episode 41, which, yes, that's been 41 people I've interviewed, but we get Eugene's biggest legend of them all, and I'm not even joking. This bitch has been performing all the way since the 80s and is still valid within our community. We are going to have the one and only legendary queen herself, Daphne Bertha Storm. I'm so excited to get this queen on our show to spill all the tea about life in drag for almost 30, 40 years, and then throwing major events supporting our community, such as Damsels, Divas, and Dames, and the Glamazons. So definitely tune in for episode 41 this Friday as we spill all the tea and celebrate Pride Month with the one and only Daphne Bertha Storm. Now, Miles.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, do you want to play a little game with me?
Ooh, yeah. What did you have in mind?
Well, before we really get rough with it and make you feel it, I thought I'd loop you up a little and play one of our favorite Bitch Talk with Bitchcock favorites that we like to call Truth or Drink. And how this will work, my love, is I'm going to ask you a series of shady questions, and you can either answer truthfully or take a shot. You ready to play, little one?
Hulk, are you ready to play? I think we're ready to play.
Well, perfect. I'll try to get extra shady so you can have some good shots over there, love. Now, first and foremost, let's start with number one. And as you tell us about your worst performance flop that's ever happened to you.
My packer came out halfway through a song, and I wanted to make a joke of it, so I picked it up and kind of flung it around and ended up hitting the light structure in the bar with my packer. I was very lucky that nothing fell, nobody got hurt, but that was the most embarrassing.
Oh my God, your packer is just so powerful. I mean, that mighty penis almost brought down the lights. Oh my goodness. Oh.
That's what Miles Long is all about, baby.
Yes, well, that's quite the tea. I love that one. For number two, have you ever had a crush on a fellow drag performer?
Yes. Yes, I have. I'm not going to tell you who it is because we
Then
may
if you're not
or may
gonna
not be
spill
currently dating.
Well, if you're not going to spill the name, then you have to take a shot.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Does it taste delicious like tequila?
Tastes like mangoes.
Ooh. Well, okay.
Got some
Well,
mangoes.
what was that, love?
I got some mangoes.
Okay. Now, for number three, tell us a crazy or funny backstage story that you've witnessed.
Crazy story is I've witnessed people backstage doing cocaine.
Oh,
No, not you. Not you. And I'm not, again, not going to say names out of respect.
do not.
But still.
I mean, yeah, but let's be honest, it's the drag world, and it's been around since the 80s, honey, so it's going to be something you're going to see, so no problem. Now, for number four, has Miles ever hooked up with an audience member?
Yes, I have.
Oh my God, really? Tell us a little bit about it.
It was horrible.
What?
It was fucking horrible. I can't tell you who it was, but yes, it was a horrible experience. Something I probably won't ever do again.
Well, take a shot so you can forget it then. Oh my goodness. Well, we only have one last question for Truth or Drink. Then we're going to go to our secondary game. Now, for this last one, this isn't a hard one. I think you're going to love this one. Tell me on a level to 1 to 10, how wild are you?
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, oh, really?
Wild enough. I would say I'm an 11.
Oh my goodness. Well, honey, let's do an 11 on 11 and make us 22 because I'm ready to have some fun. Oh!
Yes, yes, and yes. And for that, I will drink to that.
Well, perfect. Get all lubed up because we are going to go to our secondary game. And this one's that gets people in trouble. And this is the game that we like to call Marry, Kai Kai, or Cancel. And how this will work is I'm going to name a series of 3 names at a time. And out of those 3 names, you're going to tell me who you want to marry, who you want to Kai Kai with or fuck, and whose shows you want to see get canceled completely.
Ouch.
But before we go into that game, a little disclosure. Everyone whose names are mentioned, this is for fun. This is not meant to be shady. This is just to have fun and to throw Miles off a little bit. So don't get offended. Please don't get butthurt and don't send death threats to my people. Otherwise, I have to beat you up. So
I
are
fucking
you
love
ready,
you
Miles?
guys.
Huh?
I fucking love you guys. Nobody hate me, okay? Like, it's just a game.
Well, perfect, love bug. Let's dive into it for your first round of Marry, Kai Kai, or Cancel. We have the legendary Salem Queen herself, always craving. Your drag mother, the one and only Babe, and of course the queen of the apocalypse, Strawberry Apocalypse.
Oh, dear Lord. I would. This one's hard.
I like it
Well,
hard.
technically, Straubs doesn't do any shows, like, doesn't produce any shows, so I'm just going to cancel your shows before you produce them. And then I would Kai Kai always in a heartbeat, and I would marry Nick, Babe.
Aw, you're gonna marry your mommy. That sounds
Yeah, but I won't fuck my
healthy.
mommy.
Yeah, no. Okay, let's go to round 2 as we hang out with some of our favorite Spectrum performers as we have the one and only Bonnie Rose, the always incomparable Uranus the Fool, and then of course the Studley He Coli.
Oh God. Oh, excuse me on that one. These are all 3 of like my faves people. Like, these are good people here. Um, I would marry Bonnie. I would Kai Kai He Coli, and I would cancel Uranus. Not because I don't want to see Uranus perform, just because of the stress.
Well,
The
I
stress.
hear you. And, Uranus has been threatening to cancel herself for years, so
Right?
that's a safe bet.
Right.
Well, let's go into round 3 as we have the one and only Glamazon, Nicole Serene Storm, the beautiful, talented Eugene Queen, Scarlet Trick, and of course she's poisonous but so sweet, Belladonna Cupcake.
Oh, this is so hard. This is so hard. So we have, who's the first one again?
Nicole Serene Storm,
Nikki.
Scarlet Trick, and Belladonna.
Scarlet and Belladonna. Nikki. Nikki already canceled her shows except for Glamazons, and that's like a collective show. So Nikki, you're canceled. I love you, Nikki. I know. I love you so much, Nikki. I kind of took over your job as doing all ages as well. I didn't realize that until a couple months after. Let's see here. And then, dear Lord, who are the other 2? I got Nikki,
Scarlet Trick,
Scarlet,
and Belladonna.
And Belladonna. Okay, so I would marry Belladonna and I would Kai Scarlet.
Oh, yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Well, of course, that wasn't the hardest round because I had to save the hardest for last because we like it hard. Now, for round 4 in your final round of Marry Kai or Cancel, we have Slutasia, the beautiful and talented Ava Rice, and really to fuck with you, the one and only Maliena Bitchcock.
God. Oh, Maliena. Oh, I would marry you.
Damn right.
I would marry you. I would Kai Sam and or Slutasia, and I would cancel Ava. And I hate to do that to Ava, but I don't know Ava well enough to Kai or marry.
Well, that's fair. And Ava is not going anywhere soon because she's a fierce queen and she knows what she's doing. Well, that means, my love, you survived all our games, which also means you survived the entire interview. And you survived Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, bitch.
You want to get a t-shirt? Oh my God!
No, not unless you want to pay for it.
I will. I'm gonna get a t-shirt.
Well, no problem, my love. Well, I want all of you beautiful boys and girls and all of those in between. Again, look down below where you can find all the information to support us as performers and also support Black Lives Matter. And I also want to see all of you fantastic people for our next episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock as we dive into the world of a Eugene legend themselves, the one and only Daphne Bertha Storm. You do not want to miss this episode. This episode is truly with a legendary queen who's going to spill so much fucking tea that you're not going to be able to clean it up. It's just going to be too messy. Oh my God, it's going to be so good. So again, Miles, thank you for coming on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock. It's been an honor to have you on my show, my love.
Oh, I am so honored. Thank you so much, Auntie. I appreciate you.
Oh, baby, of course. And as always, all you beautiful boys and girls and all those in between, I hope you stay safe and have a fantastic week. And we will see you on the next episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock on this Friday. You all be safe, and we love you so much.
Mwah.
Bye.